we can all do our part to help the environment. Just making a few small changes can really make a difference. And our next two guests have some simple solutions for living a sweeter and more sustainable life.
Yeah, joining us now are the co-founders of Towwn. So please welcome award-winning journalist Kelly Mickle and our CW family member, who you may know from the long-running series Supernatural, more recently starring on the show Walker, Genevieve Padalecki. So good to have both of you here.
Thank you for having us.
Yes, of course. So let's begin with this organization you founded, right? It's called Towwn, which is spelled T-O-W-W-N, standing for Take Only What We Need here. What was the basis for starting it?
Well, you know, Kelly and I were sort of, we're big environmentalists. We love nature. We're moms, and we are your average consumer and very wasteful. And so we were looking for a place where we could find resources in the sustainability space. And we found that it was either doom and gloom or it was all or nothing. And so we came together and put our heads together and wanted to find a space that was approachable, that, you know, a waster like myself could find everyday tasks that are doable, from gardening to how can your kitchen be more sustainable to ways that we can be better parents. And so that's kind of how it was born.
Yeah, I mean, we always hear the word sustainable.
Right.
Yeah. Sustainability. And how would you explain it to someone that's not really up to, you know, up to date on what that really means?
I think the simplest explanation is like a balance between nature and people and planet, and keeping a harmonious balance between those two things. And the way to do that is really to be conscious consumers, whether that's the way that you shop or the way that you are consuming the things that you read on the news, or the way that you shop for food, where your food comes from, how you go out and interact with the world. And I think what we're trying to do with Towwn is get people to be more conscious consumers and think about what they're taking in and what they're giving back.
Yeah. It's so interesting because I'm listening to you say, like, I was a waster, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like some people say, well, no, I'm environmentally conscious. I recycle and I'm sustainable, or whatever, maybe. But you're really not in the long run. So what are some simple swaps, maybe in the kitchen? Because I think that's where, like, some people, like, really spend a lot of time. There's so much waste in the kitchen. A few swaps people can make to maybe make it easier.
Sure, and just really quick, I mean, just what you're saying, like, everyone's temperature is so different on how they are able to be sustainable. And one of those great ways that we can, that's really approachable and easy, is in the kitchen.
Yeah.
Food waste is a big one, so using a compost. I know that places like New York City, which is amazing, have composters, and which is great.
Now we have bins on the street.
Bins on the street, exactly. And you can have one, if Austin, Texas, have one in your backyard, bring it out to the garden. There are, use dishcloths, use those instead of paper towels, use glass instead of plastic, great water filter system, using
beeswax wraps instead of plastic wraps.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
We even have, there's like paper, almost instead of plastic baggies, they have the
silicone or paper ones are biodegradable, which are great.
That's good.
And now you and your husband actually moved to Texas, right?
Yes.
And you live on a farm, so a lot of this is useful for you there too, right? I mean,
it is. I'm a big geek about where our food comes from. It's really important to me to close that gap as far as how far it travels. And when we started having kids, I really wanted them to understand that relationship between our food and where it comes from. It's not something we can just Instacart or snap and it's there. So it was really important for them to understand, and that in part, helps our soil, which helps our environment, composting and all the things.
Yeah, there's so many. Oh my gosh, I'm listening. Even just talking about that waxable paper baggie. How many times I use that baggie to put like goldfish? I'm like, here you go, here's your gold. It's so interesting because I don't even think of that as like contributing to the issue here. Now you're both in town for the big climate week. Obviously, you're going to be speaking. Nervous? What's on the agenda?
Yeah,
a little.
Definitely nervous. I mean, I will say, there are a lot of academics and PhDs, and it definitely feels a bit like, wow, we're out of our league. This is really crazy and incredible. But I think that's why we're here, is to make it as normal and approachable and relatable, and come from like, hey, we're really curious about this space and we care a lot about it. So today we will be speaking at 4:15 for a platform which is called We Don't Have Time, which you can all go watch at 4:15, wedon'thavetime.org. and we're super excited and just really proud of our company.
Yeah, we'll be talking about how to grow the climate movement, and I think our goal is really just to try to bridge that gap between the academic and all the science jargon to the everyday person that actually cares about this, because surveys show that 70% of people want to live more sustainably, but they don't really know how. And so our goal is to kind of give them easy steps and how they can do that.
And you are leading by example, so that's wonderful.
Yes.
Thank you. We hope so.
Well, thanks for your time. Thanks for coming in.
Thanks for having
And
us.
good luck with the speech.
Thank you so
Thank
much
you.
for having us.
You got
Thank
this.
you.
You got it.
Oh gosh, thank you.
You can keep up with them on Instagram, everybody, TikTok, and the website, Towwn, TOWWN.com.